With over 30 years of experience in wealth planning and a lifetime of involvement in harness racing, Matt Franklin at Wire to Wire Wealth can help you build a financial plan that addresses the unique circumstances of those involved in the horse racing industry. Whether you are investing to build wealth, protect your family, or preserve your assets, Matt at Wire to Wire Wealth will work with you through the wealth planning process from start to finish.
Standard Bred Horse Sale, the sale of champions. The hottest young horses in the industry. Sylvia Hanover, Geocentric, Captain Albano, TCI, Soiree Hanover, all sold at Harrisburg. Our 2023 sale included the top-priced colt sold at public auction, D. Kooning. 3 days of top shelf yearlings and the #1 mixed sale in the industry, all under one roof. A great sale for sellers and a great sale for buyers. Don't miss it. November 4th through the 8th, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Brian, thank you for once again making time for us. Every year we seem to come by here and get to look at your amazing horses. Last year, your video was great and you showed us some of the most impressive horses throughout the year. Let's start with Geocentric.
Well, you know, she was just one of those horses, was a dream come true. You know, a lot of people, and me included, will say we knew from the start. That one, we pretty much knew from the start. Most of them, we do not. We have foolers. You think they're good early, they don't wind up as being. Some aren't as good early and get good later. But she never had a bad day till the final of the Breeders' Crown.
Well, I like to watch her go when she's training here and always give her the little bow down. It has to be like she's royalty this year.
Well, she is to us. I mean, like I said, never a bad day until that day. It's not like she was perfect every week. She had a few problems, but not that much. And then things went wrong in the Breeders' Crown, but, you know, everybody has a bad day.
Exactly, and one isn't bad when you consider all the things she did. Let's start talking about some of your 2-year-olds. First up, Coastline, a 2-year-old colt pacer from Ohio, $46,000, down by the seaside.
Well, he was, the owners owned the mare, and they bought him back out of Lexington. We had the mare, and she just was colt sore all the time. I don't think she raced an Indiana bred, but she showed ability. So they kept her to breeder, really nice looking mare. This horse, he's come along. He was kind of a big, little on the dumb side, lazy. But once we started going the right way in groups and started actually training, this horse has really come around. He's okay.
Moving on to number 5, Doncic, I believe is the way. I had one of our basketball fans over there telling me all about it. I guess he's friends with the Joker, and so named after him, a basketball star for the Dallas Mavericks. Tell me about that colt.
This colt, he's a sweet Lou, and you can tell he's got the white, and he's a great looking horse, pretty to look at, but he's got a hell of a body, big and strong, good gaited. He was pretty nice right from the start, so you know, we've liked him all along. He's coming along pretty good.
He looked great the other day, closing fast for Ike in his training mile. This horse came way back. Moving on to number 46, Strange Summer, a tall, dark stranger, $100,000.
We actually thought we would have to pay more or wouldn't get her. She's a half-sister to a horse named Schnitzel Do Something. Great, big, good-looking, beautiful horse himself. This filly is similar. She's just not near as big, but great gaited, a perfect mouth. Do anything you want. Be on the front or back. All you have to do is cluck to her, touch her with the whip, and she'll just go wherever you want. So right now, she is one of the nicest fillies we have.
That has to be a pleasure. Let's talk about Westwinds at Captaintreacherous. Ike was closing strong on the outside with this one too, a $95,000 purchase.
She's a Captaintreacherous, and she rates right up there with Strange Summer. Good gated, nice and strong. Again, one of those that just does nothing wrong. Got a great attitude, never has bad days like they're in heat or, just don't want to do it. Both of those, just whatever you want to do.
How about, you bring up the filly side of it, how about the colts? How many horses do you have are still colts versus ones that you've chosen to geld?
I think we've only gelded 5 or 6 so far. That doesn't mean there's some that don't need it.
Right.
Some of the more expensive ones we're trying to hold off and wait. Some of them probably going to get gelded when we start pushing if their attitudes change a little. But so far, normally by now we've gelded more than this.
Gotcha. Well, let's move on to Damn the Torpedos and Always Be Miki.
This colt's turned into a pretty nice horse. He wasn't little, but he wasn't a big horse. He's grown, but he's got some length to him. So he's very good gated on the track. So far, he's been very willing. No problems.
The people who make this all possible, you have a great group of owners. I was talking to Jenny beforehand. Just some of the numbers. Kurt Nichols, 19, Country Club. Those guys have 22. Sobraco, parts of 22. Hutchinson Harness, 12. It's got to be nice to know that you have people that are that invested in your stable every year.
It is, because they're always there when I need them. If I have an extra piece of one, then I could probably talk one of those guys in. But we have other partners. We have a few new people this year. So, they usually people get a hold of us and ask if we have room to get them in on something. And, we try to work it out. My biggest worry is buying too many and getting all the shares sold. Then I own those shares, and I don't need that many. Yep. So knock on wood, I've had like those 3 or 4 guys that you mentioned. They pitch in, and if I need somebody to take a fourth, Milt Lehman's very good at it. The Wingfield brothers, Doc Hutchison buys all of his by himself, so that really helps. There's horses I don't even have to look for partners.
Right, and that makes it easy. Now let's talk about we've seen this. You go in, you've done all your homework, you've worked for days, you've watched videos. Now you've just got the horse, you get the bid, the hammer hits, you're signing your name. What happens after that?
Well, sometimes that horse is pretty well sold before we even get it. And we get shut out on a lot of horses too. We'll look at 100 and might buy 15. Doesn't mean we got all the ones we wanted. This year, I think we did pretty good on who we got were horses that we really wanted. It helped 3 of my best Pennsylvania colts were not Kentucky eligible. So we didn't have to overspend for them horses. Hurts a little when you're not eligible to Kentucky, but it helped us on the price. But, I'm texting some, as soon as I buy them, if these guys haven't said they're in, I'll start sending text out as a group text. Look at this number, this share is available. And, some of my guys are right there to sale. So, those guys are right there, and they tell me right away if they're in or not. So sometimes I got a guy that wanted in and gets shut out, and it's hard because those guys are loyal to me, but sometimes they didn't get in on the one they wanted, but they'll get in on something that's pretty decent.
What about the loyalty factor? You said that they're loyal and they try to get in, but does it ever worry you when you're sending out your numbers? I'm sure a lot of people would like to see your grading system and numbers before the sale. Do you ever worry about it getting out there and raising the price?
No. I'm sure most people know what they're doing. They're not worried about what I'm doing. And if they ever saw my book, they probably couldn't make heads or tails out of it anyway. So
you use the coding system too?
Well, it's just bad writing is the coding system, yeah. Okay. Only I can figure out what it says.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. It's one of those things where someone walks up and says, "What'd you think of this horse?" and you really hated it, but you just have wrote down in some kind of code and you said, "Oh, nice one."
No. Usually I don't BS anybody.
Yeah.
I've had guys that have come up and asked me about a horse I wanted to buy, and I told them what I wrote down. Yeah. And if they give more money, okay,
yeah.
So we do our thing and everybody else does theirs. But if anybody would ever ask, I'd help anybody.
You're at home, you're starting to figure out, of course, pacers, I'm sure. People start calling you and want in. What if someone's new and they're intimidated to reach out to you or to get a part of your stable? You take people all the time.
We do, and nobody should ever be afraid to talk to me. You know, the girls here, they joke that I don't scare anybody. The girls get scared of Jenny, but no, yeah. I don't scare nobody. So anybody can call and ask me anything at any time.
So you'll mark them down, try to look for them and fit them in where you can.
I do. I try to make a list out of my own original owners, write all their names down, and I might have even talked to them, and they'll say, well, I'll take this many shares, what percentage. We don't always talk price because that's so subjective to when you're at a sale. The prices are so up and down anymore. And then a new guy comes, so I add him on the list, and then I try to get enough for everybody. I go in with a bit of an idea of how many horses I need.
I know that every year you say you're cutting back a little bit, but you never looks like you do. It looks like you're still full again this year.
We are, and that's, I guess you could partly greed, but you know, I hate to turn horses down, especially if you turn an owner down and say the next year somebody left. Well, now you've got a void there and you don't have as many horses, and that guy you turned down probably ain't asking again. So we try not to turn anybody down and you know, work with everybody.
Brian, we're trying something a little different this year. So we would like to go over 2 horses with you first, and then we're going to go to the videotape. First is number 14, Allegrissimo, which I believe Jenny looked up for me means fast and lively in the musical note sense. Tell me a little about the horse.
I don't know what it means, but she's a pretty good size, well said. As soon as we put her in the cart, she could pace free-legged from day one and look great. It's been good gaited. I don't think we've changed her hobbles since we first put them on them, and I like my hobbles a little long, but she's just been a pleasant surprise. A little bit on the lazy side for a while, but she's kind of woke up, so she's training very good right now.
Number 6, Expedited Service, a Cattlewash. Wow, he has the look.
He is. He's a good-looking horse. Probably not quite as good-looking as his dad. His dad was a great big Sun Beach, and I love Sun Beaches. They were very good to me, so I'm glad to get a Cattlewash. Most of the Sun Beach studs have hit and done well. We bought this horse. He's New Jersey and Kentucky. The only reason Doc Hutchison really bought him was because he's Kentucky, and that's our main focus. Now, we did pay the first payment of the Sire Stakes in Jersey for next year because We'll probably have to have it to fill in his early season, but we don't plan on going to Jersey, but a very nice horse.
Okay, Brian, let's take a look at the mile. Brian, starting out this video, you are fanned out across the racetrack.
Yeah, we like to get them spread across the track to get started, and you can see one in the back is trailing because we don't want to be on the outside of the crown here. The footing's not so good out there. So, but we like to, you know, have them think we're racing a little bit, get them a little bit excited.
Here you leave out of there, you can see Ike with Expedited Service leaving out. Looks very alert, and then actually even teaches him to come back.
Yeah, you know, that's the whole point of having so many in a group. I don't like to get too many because the guys in the back, you know, you just feel like you're going so slow and you're running over each other. But the more you put together, I think it's better for the horse.
What are you looking at and focusing on right now? You're able to watch them all.
Well, sometimes I sit in the back. That's more the horse than me. I like to be on the front a lot so I can rate the miles and know we're going, you know, where we're supposed to. If I go too fast or too slow, that's on me. But when you're sitting back here, you can kind of see a little bit of each horse. So, you know, it gives me an idea of what each one's doing. If I'm on the front all the time, I can't see the other guys until we're coming down the stretch.
What about, is there anything that you're noticing here? Like I notice here, number 50 is back a little bit, 14 shaking the head. Are you doing it, you know, is that leading you towards equipment changes?
Not usually. I mean, I would rely on the trainer to tell me that. You know, they're still green, so some of them like to be a little closer. And some might be the trainer don't like to be that close. You know, babies, they make mistakes. You give yourself room to maneuver if you need to.
You're kind of looking and trying to drive several horses.
Well, I'm looking, paying attention to watch each horse if I can see something. Now, my trainers are my best help.
When do you talk with your trainers? Is that pulling up or back here at the barn?
Both. A lot of it is on the way back. You know, that we like that. We talk on the way back because we're still moving. I don't like to talk in the barn because then we have to stop and stand there and talk. I want the next group out on the track as soon as we can.
Nice, tight-looking group of horses right here.
This is in pretty good shape. I like where we're spaced. You know, they're all within kind of close enough to each other that, you know, the one setting back doesn't have to come a quarter and, you know, 32 when the rest of them are going 34.
Is it pretty much everyone go what you can, or do you still have like regulations on time?
We set a time when we go out. Yesterday we were supposed to go in 2:30. Most of them went in 29, 28. Somebody might have went in 26 in a piece. The one sitting in the back that closed in pretty good. So, you know, but we try to not overdo it. I'd rather go a little bit under 30 than say 32, because this is our second time in 30. This Saturday I'm going to train them in 25. I don't want to go from 32 to 25. I'd rather go from 28 to 25.
Thank you so much, Brian.
Hey, thanks for all you do.